The darkening mirror was the first strange thing I noticed in my house. In our bedroom, opposite the bed, stood a tall mirror, one in which you could see your full reflection. It was convenient for picking out clothes in the morning. One day, the reflection in it began to darken. I thought I was imagining it, that my eyesight had worsened, or something was wrong with the lighting in the room. But then I realized the reflection had truly dimmed. I had to squint to see myself clearly. I didn't think mirrors could just wear out and become useless. I asked Marina about it, but she said she hadn't noticed any changes. "A mirror is a mirror," she said. "Marina is my wife. We were expecting a baby, with about a month to go before the due date. The ultrasound showed we were having a girl. I was happy. Usually, fathers want sons, but I wanted a daughter. We were going to name her Aurora. The pregnancy had been going smoothly until the last month. Then, strange things started happening to my wife and in our apartment. First, it was the mirror. Then, the nursery. We were preparing to become parents and had set up the nursery in advance. We put up light blue wallpaper with little clouds, bought a dresser for all the diapers, and a crib with a musical mobile. You know, the kind with toys that spin over the baby's head to calm them down. Marina and I wanted to make everything perfect, like in the movies or a diaper commercial. We so wanted to be good parents. We never closed the nursery door completely, always leaving a small crack as if we already had a baby we were keeping an eye on. Walking past the room one day, I saw the musical mobile spinning above the crib. The mobile was battery operated, and when you turned it on, it would rotate smoothly to a calm melody. But there was no music playing then, and the mobile was spinning so fast it was cutting through the air with a whistle. Something must be broken, I thought. I went into the nursery and stopped it. One of the figures hit my fingers so hard that I yelped. What a dangerous toy. I could already picture myself writing a scathing one-star review. I examined the mobile, it was switched off. A strange feeling washed over me, a sense that something was wrong in my house. I wanted to tell my wife about it but decided against it. I didn't want to scare her. But soon after, she scared me half to death. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night for no reason and then fall back asleep quickly. But this time, waking up in the dead of night, I saw Marina lying with her eyes wide open. Her gaze was glassy, her pupils fixed. "Why are you awake?" I asked. She didn't answer. She didn't react to my words at all. Not a single muscle on her face twitched, and her eyes remained just as still. "Marina," I shouted, shaking her by the shoulder. "What's wrong with you?" Only then did she blink and look at me. "Did you think I was dead?" she asked. I let out a breath of relief. For a second, I really had thought she was. "Why aren't you sleeping?" I repeated my question. Marina pointed to the nightstand next to the bed and replied, "Because I was going to get the scissors and poke your eyes out while you were sleeping." Having said that, my wife turned her back to me and fell asleep. She had never joked like that before. It was too much for her. She was a very reserved person. Even if I accidentally bumped her, she wouldn't be rude. She would just tell me how my actions made her feel. I had heard that pregnant women could be unpredictable, but this was the first time in 8 months anything like this had happened. In the morning, I reminded Marina about what had happened during the night. She said she didn't remember anything of the sort. I expected to see surprise in her eyes, but she just dismissed my words as if they were nothing, as if she had lost the ability to react emotionally. I didn't have time to sort things out. I was late for work. As I was getting ready, I realized there was almost no reflection in the mirror. It had turned a dark gray, almost black. I had to throw this mirror out, I decided. It was just taking up space. That evening, when I came home, Marina didn't greet me in the hallway as usual. My pregnant wife was sitting in the living room, staring intently at the TV. They were showing some silly cartoons for 3-year-olds, something an adult would hardly find captivating. I tried to joke, getting used to what we'll have to watch all the time soon. Marina looked away for a second, gave me a questioning look, and then went back to staring at the screen. All right, I thought, and went to the kitchen. I was starving. A strange mess awaited me there. The window was wide open, chairs were knocked over, and a down comforter from the bedroom was lying on the floor. "Marina, what the hell?" I yelled. My wife didn't even think to answer. She was too engrossed in the idiotic cartoon. And that was just the beginning. What I saw in the bathroom was even worse. The entire bathtub was streaked with blood, and a blood-stained knife lay on the floor. I ran back into the living room, stood between Marina and the television, and demanded an immediate explanation. Where did the blood in the bathroom come from? I asked. What did you do to yourself? I didn't do anything to myself, Marina answered irritably. I told her that if she didn't tell me the truth, I would take her to the hospital right now. My wife stood up from the couch, took off her robe, and showed me that there were no injuries on her body. Then where did the blood in the bathroom come from? Explain, I insisted. She furrowed her brow and looked up at the ceiling as if she was having trouble remembering. I was airing out the kitchen today, and a crow flew in through the window. I killed it, Marina said. I was shocked and tried to get more details. A crow flew in the window? It scared you? You were waving the knife around and accidentally killed it, is that it? No, not like that, my wife said. It flew in the window and was fluttering around the kitchen. I brought the comforter from the bedroom and caught it. Then I took a knife, carried the crow to the bathroom, and killed it there. Yes, that's how it all happened. And then I flushed it down the toilet. My eyes widened as I listened. Marina, why did you do that? My wife threw up her hands and wrinkled her chin as if she herself was surprised by her actions. I don't know. It just seemed interesting to kill a bird. My wife was not herself. This was completely unlike her. Something had to be done. I needed a specialist's advice, but that would have to wait until morning. For now, I needed to get her to bed. I led Marina to the bedroom and tucked her in. She didn't resist and fell asleep almost immediately. My eye was twitching from the nervous tension. I was scared for Marina and our baby. I went to the bathroom and started to clean up the blood. Only then did I notice the feathers. She wasn't lying. She really had killed that bird. I never thought my wife was capable of something like that. That evening, I was too afraid to sleep in the same bed with her, so I made my bed on the living room couch. I slept for a few hours and was woken up by a noise. It was a periodic thudding and the rattling of glass. Marina, what are you doing in there? I went into the bedroom and turned on the light. My wife was on her knees in front of the mirror, banging her forehead against it. She didn't blink once. It looked wild and insane. What is wrong with you? I pulled my wife by the arm. She complied and got to her feet. I looked in the mirror. It had turned completely black, like a tombstone. Nothing was reflected in it anymore. I had to put my wife back to bed again and sit with her to make sure she didn't do something else. It's okay, Marina said, her voice trailing off. Just get rid of her. I hate her. She's so disgusting. In the morning, I called work and said I had a family emergency. Then I put my wife in the car and drove her to the hospital. It couldn't be delayed. First, I spoke with a psychotherapist, telling him everything exactly as it happened. Then he talked to Marina. He prescribed a sedative, saying it would be safe for the baby, but asked me to monitor my wife's condition closely and call anytime if anything happened. Why do you think her mental state has deteriorated? I asked the doctor during our private conversation. Whatever people say, pregnancy is not the most natural state for the body. Anything can happen. You yourself shouldn't worry too much. The main thing is to watch your wife, the doctor replied. Marina took only one pill, half in the morning and half in the evening. The changes were astonishing. I can't believe I did all that, my wife said. I can only imagine how much I scared you. I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. It's not your fault, I replied with a smile. It's our little girl playing tricks. Maybe I was right. The couple of days I was home were almost peaceful, but I noticed strange things in our apartment. On the evening of the first day, I was walking past the nursery and thought I saw 3 small pillows hovering in the twilight over the crib. Just hanging in the air, swaying slightly. What in the world? I threw the door wide open, and the pillows fell silently back into the crib. I walked over and looked over the side. The pillows seemed to be lying as usual. So strange. As I was leaving the room and closing the door, I thought I heard a stifled child's laugh, like a little girl giggling with her hand over her mouth. I hurried out of the dark hallway, fear chasing me. The next morning, while shaving, I noticed that the mirror in the bathroom was also starting to darken. I had to squint to see my reflection. Either some kind of mirror mold had infested the house, or I was going crazy myself. I'm the one who needs the pills, not my wife, I thought. But I was wrong. I thought Marina was back to normal and was even planning to go back to work after the weekend if everything stayed fine. But nothing was fine. I woke up in the middle of the night again and saw that the bed next to me was empty. Shelves were rattling in the kitchen, drawers were opening, and silverware was clinking. Marina. I threw off the blanket and ran to the kitchen. I saw my wife in the dark, silhouetted against the window. Marina was standing sideways to me. In her hands was a knife. She brought it to her round belly, preparing to plunge it in. I managed to run up and grab her arm. "Stop, what are you doing? Have you lost your mind? I want to get rid of her. She's so disgusting. Let's just be the two of us, without her." Marina's hair was disheveled, and she had that same glassy-eyed look again. She looked possessed. "Marina, what are you saying? This is our future child. This is our daughter. We dreamed of having children together, remember?" I snatched the knife from her and threw it away. My wife punched herself in the chest. "No, you don't understand. I want to get rid of her, that vile woman. I can't stand being in her body. I want to get out of her. I hate her." It finally dawned on me that my wife was identifying herself with the baby. She thought she was the infant and that her own body was an unnecessary shell. This had to be some form of psychiatric disorder. I knew one thing. She needed help urgently before she hurt herself. I had to use force to get her to the bedroom. Marina resisted, struggled out of my arms, and fought, even giving me a bloody nose. "Let go. Let me get rid of her. I can't take it anymore," she screamed in a voice that wasn't her own. I locked her in and tried to think of who to call. Then I remembered, damn it, the scissors in the nightstand. I ran into the bedroom. Thankfully, Marina hadn't thought to grab them. She was writhing on the floor as if in a seizure, clawing at the carpet. I took the scissors, checked the nightstand for anything else sharp, and went to call the hospital. They asked for my wife's name, her age. I was in such shock I couldn't immediately answer such simple questions. Suddenly, the power in the apartment went out. At the same time, my call dropped. Soon after, there was a deafening crash. In the darkness, I saw the bedroom door fly off its hinges, and something rushed past me with an animalistic cry. Marina got out, I thought. But when I turned on my phone's flashlight, I saw my wife was still in the bedroom. She was lying on the floor, bleeding profusely. I rushed to help her. The lights came back on, and everything was worse than it had first appeared. The entire bedroom was covered in blood. In Marina's hand was a black shard of the mirror. Why didn't I throw that damned mirror away? My wife had smashed it and stabbed herself in the stomach with a shard. She was no longer pregnant. I was utterly devastated, seeing that I had lost my child and was about to lose the woman I loved. The ambulance arrived. My wife was taken to the ICU. I waited in the hallway all night. The wound and blood loss were too severe. I thought they wouldn't be able to help my wife and was prepared to hear that she was gone. But they saved her. She was alive and had even regained consciousness. I was allowed into her room only a few hours later. Marina was weak, but not as broken as I was. From her mood, it seemed she was feeling something like relief. "I'm here. I'm back here," Marina said. I was so scared. I spent so much time in the dark, unable to see or hear anything. 2 months have passed. It's February now. "Marina," I asked, "I don't know what happened, but we lost the baby. Do you remember what you did?" My wife took my hand. "My love, I have to tell you something very important. I hid the truth from you. In my 6th month of pregnancy, I started feeling strange and went to the hospital. They told me the fetus wasn't developing and there would likely be a miscarriage." Miscarriage. Why is that word so horrible? I couldn't accept it. I couldn't tell you. What was I supposed to do? Someone advised me to see some old woman they called a witch. I was willing to believe anything to have a chance to save our baby. That old woman said I had to perform a ritual in front of a mirror, look into it, and whisper strange words. I don't remember them now. The witch said I had to summon the infant's soul from the world of the dead back into my womb. While you were at work, I performed the ritual. I sat there, whispering those incantations in front of the mirror, and then I saw a horrible child in the reflection. It was a girl. She had blue skin, matted hair, and her eyes were black, so black. And she was smiling so menacingly. I don't remember anything after that. It was like I fell into an abyss and was suspended in darkness for a very long time. I've only just come back. I thought I'd never see the light again. Do you believe me? Tell me you believe me. I didn't know what to say. On one hand, it sounded like madness. On the other, I myself had seen the mirrors in the house darken, had seen objects move on their own. They told me my wife needed treatment. She had done something terrible to herself, and they wouldn't just let her go. They said she could be a danger to herself and others. I returned home in a state of complete emotional collapse. I was empty, shattered into pieces. But the most terrifying part is that this wasn't the first case in our city. Another married couple had been unable to have children. I don't know if the wife was infertile or if something was wrong with the husband, but I know one thing. They also went to this same witch. It's unclear what she told them, but according to a police officer, something strange happened to the woman. He couldn't really explain what, as he had apparently heard it from another colleague. They found the young woman's body in the apartment, you see. Horribly mutilated, as if by a wild animal. And the girl, she was also pregnant. They caught her husband, and he kept repeating the same thing over and over. That he had gone to some old woman, either a gypsy or some kind of sorceress, I don't know. She had cast some spell. He and his wife couldn't conceive, and then this tragedy happened. And the most interesting thing is that after his wife's death, he went back to that same witch. But he couldn't find her or her house. Well, he found the house, but it wasn't the same one they had been to before. It was abandoned, overgrown with bushes, with a caved-in roof. And on the walls inside, there were icons, painted over in such a gruesome way that it would make your blood run cold. My colleague sent me a picture on my phone. The policeman crossed himself. They committed him to a mental asylum. And probably for good reason. For some reason, I believe that man. After the police left our apartment, the only thing I could do was collapse onto the bed and stare at the ceiling. I lay like that until dark. I needed to use the restroom, but I held it, unable to make myself get up. And then I heard a whisper. It was a child's voice. It was coming from the room that was meant for our future daughter. Some little girl was whispering in the darkness. "I'm here. Can you hear me?"